today I found a little lamp, you know, just a plain old lamp. Has a plain old shade, right? You could thrift one. I got mine at a little craft store. You can get them at a discount store. You could probably go shopping in your own home, find that one ugly lamp you're tired of looking at, and make this project happen. The first thing we did do was clean it, of course. We did use the Sure Prep. This is a new product, Sure Prep Bonding Primer by Couture. We applied that yesterday and just let it dry overnight. That's just me. Yeah, I think you just need to let it dry about an hour. Also, my top coat, or our color here, I don't know if you guys can see this. It's kind of a gray purple color. It's one of the new CC Remix colors from Couture. It's called Grateful Dead. So it's a nice, has a nice little gray purpley tone. So I don't know if you guys can see that. All right. So I've already painted that. So, because you don't want to watch me paint and all that good stuff. You want to get down to the nitty gritty. All right, so what I'm going to show you, we're going to go ahead and turn the camera down. So we've got quite a few things we're going to do with this. If you guys have any questions, make sure you drop them in the comments. I will try to answer them as we are playing today. Also wanted to show you on this particular piece, it has a lot of dimpling here. It's just texture from the piece that it was. It was not my favorite color, so I wanted to paint it. We are adding transfers to it. We are going to add the Burgundy Rose transfer. And one thing to keep in mind, not only do you have a curve here, you have a curve here, and you have these little, I guess, divots and lines and stuff. So you got to kind of watch out for all of that. So we're going to go ahead, and I'm going to just use this little cloth here to kind of help prop this guy up. And I've already cut out my pieces. So if you don't remember what Burgundy Rose Garden looks like, there's your reminder. I love it because you get like tons and tons and tons of yummy goodness out of one transfer. And so I've already got this one started. So we're gonna go ahead and place our next one. And I've been kind of playing around with the placement. And I kind of, since I already have purple here, I wanna break that up and we're gonna do it this way, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and take, we're not really worried about the grid lines on this because we're going a little off the grid, so to speak. So we're gonna go ahead and line. I'm gonna give a little break there because I've got something planned for in-betweens. All right, so we're gonna start with here. Don't push it all the way down because we are on a curve. Let me see if I can get you guys to see this a little bit better. So since we're curvy, we wanna kind of just start. And you can use your little free stick that comes with the transfer. I just like my little transfer tool. It can get into some of these groovy spots. For me, easier. Some people like the stick better. It's no big deal. Whatever floats your boat. And you know what? If you do this and you make a boo-boo, it's not a big deal. Put another flower on it or age it up, distress it, make it look like you're supposed to. Do it that way. So don't ever let a transfer be like super stressful. It should never be stressful. It's not the end all be all of the world. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start lifting this if we can. Gotta make sure, because we've got all these, like I said, we've got these little grooves and divots in this lamp. And if you're lucky enough to find one that's smooth, that's even better. But you still have the problem with a curvy surface. So just keep that in mind. Okay. And sometimes it may wrinkle and it's not a big deal. You're not really going to see it. Okay, we're gonna get all this. We're going up here. We've got the curviness. Just kind of, whoop. See, that one didn't want to stick, so just put it back down and go for it. All right. Let's see. Thank you guys for joining me on your Tuesday evening. I appreciate it. This is my first time here on the Prima page. All right, so see how this is starting to kind of get a little wonky? It's okay. We're just gonna kind of lay that back down. So we got that pink one on, so we were able to kind of maneuver him around. And I'm giving it some pretty good pressure. You guys can probably hear it. Let's see. Gotta let that turn loose. Turn loose of my stuff there. All right. Okay, and we're gonna get this guy laid down. Oh, it's always a straggler wants to hang on. All right, so let's get the rest of this green guy on here. Okay, and you guys, if you have questions, just drop them down in the comments. We'll make sure and get those answered for you. Like I said, we're using Grateful Dead from Paint Couture. That was my base color. And we have the Burgundy Rose Garden Transfer. I like the muted colors for the color. The Grateful Dead has a purple hue to it, but it's grayish. So it's gonna look gray in some lights, purpley in some other lights. Got a little bend there, but that's all right. So what we're gonna do now, so remember we have all those little pocket holes or little pot marks, I don't know you wanna call them. I'm gonna take a cloth and I'm just gonna make sure, and this is just what we call burnishing, so you're just rubbing in it and that's all it means, nothing fancy. So you're just gonna rub your finger. I like to rub with a cloth because I'm notorious for lifting the transfer with my bare finger. So I don't take chances anymore. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and, now I can hear the little pops. So when you're doing this, you'll see little air bubbles, and they gotta go, they gotta go. So this one's even a little harder because we've got the little, like I said, little dents, little dimples in this particular lamp. And that's okay, we'll get them all popped out. We'll work them all out. All right, so we're gonna get all that worked out. Let's see here. Alrighty, let's get that there. So we'll definitely wanna get this all nicely burnished. And now I will take my finger now because I don't feel like I'm gonna rip off my transfer. You do it once and then you kind of get a little where you don't wanna, I took a flower out with my whole finger. So you just gotta, don't be like me. Be careful, right? All right, so let's see. We've got the little grooves here. We're getting that all grooved out. Okay. All right, so we had a little overlap right there. So I'm gonna rub that off right here. So, and if it does kind of hang off a little bit, I'm just gonna kind of peel it with my fingernail. And that was just a little bit because we have a curve right here, and it's just a little bit of the flowers kind of coming together and overlapping. So like I said, it's not a big deal. You don't really notice it, so it's not detrimental to the design. So if you had words, you'd probably not want to put them in a weird curve on curve situation like we have up here. All right, so let's make sure I'm just gonna make sure we got all our bubbles out because bubbles cause problems later. Okay, let's get that one, tackle it. Ooh. All right, and if you do like me, you scratch it with your fingernail. Alrighty, so now we're gonna go to the back side here. All right, so I'm thinking I wanna do this guy, so I'm gonna cut this portion off real fast. Grab my scissors, so I don't need the greenery. Wasn't sure if it was all gonna fit when I was playing with this earlier. So I like this one because it's kind of cut off at the end and I need to match it up and I don't want to match it up. So I'm gonna take this and it's gonna be the start of the bottom of my piece. And so I'm working upside down for you guys. Let's see. I'm gonna start right there, and we're gonna have a little overlap over there. It's not a big deal. All right. Okay. So now I'm gonna go ahead and rub these guys on. Let's start with this little flower. And we'll make sure she's on, and then we'll move on to our next flowers. When you have the curvy surface, it's much easier if you start with one and then lift it off, then go on to your next one. And that way you can bend it around all the curves. All right. There we go. All right, so how many of you guys are thinking about what lamps you have at home now that you can go ahead and start painting on, right? All right, so we got her off of that one. And what I'm gonna do, because this one had like this little stem thing, and I thought, oh, it'd be really nice to have this little flower right here at the top, because it was kind of one of those extra lonely bits. So we're just gonna do her right there. Make sure it's all on there. Okay, good deal. All right, so we got that nice and on there, and I don't need these extra pieces, so I'm gonna save those in my transfer box and just save it for another day. You never know what you might want to use that piece for. We've used it on several items already. All right, so we're gonna take our cloth. We're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna just make sure we burnish that down, rub that down. Remember, we've got all those little grooves and all those little bumps. So always consider that when you're picking your project. And it's not to say you can't do it, it's just know what you're up against. Because you gotta make sure you get all of that air bubbles out of all those little spots. Okay, and we're almost done with that. Okay, I see some air bubbles. Okay, I'm gonna push those out. Get this guy. They're tough in there today. All right, so got those. Now we're going this direction. We got another bubble right there. Okay. Okay, I think we've got them all. Oh, I think we got one more. Nope. Maybe. Nope. Okay, good. All right, so we've got our transfers are all on there. Okay. And so what I want to do next, of course, if you guys have ever watched me or seen me, you know I liked the decor stamps. I'm kind of a decor stamp junkie. I tend to now find an excuse to use them almost every project. Almost. So let me get some of this out of the way. So I picked out a couple of pieces that I thought would be fun. This is the Monarch Collection. All right, so you guys, we've got the little butterflies here. So what goes great with butterflies? Flowers, dragonflies. So I figured that would be a great combination. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and lay this back down again. We're gonna I'm using my little shop towels to kind of keep her from rolling around, because she will roll. We don't want that to happen. Okay. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I picked out a few that I liked a lot. So we've got a couple of dragonflies. Let's see, got them there, and that guy right here, he's kind of, you know, that kind. And we've got the small butterfly, we got a big butterfly. There's bees, there's beetles, there's ladybugs, there's all kinds with that stamp, which I think is so awesome. All right, so what I'm gonna do is a little unconventional. At least I think so. All right, so we're gonna take, I've got some pearl metallic. We're gonna take the pearl jammin'. Let me show you what that looks like. So it's gonna be really kind of an iridescent little butterfly, and then we also have green iris, and I'll show you that here in a jiff. So I'm just going to use what's in my lid here. And I'm gonna take a high density foam sponge, i.e. makeup sponge. And instead of, you can take a sponge roller and roll it, you can do all those normal ways, but I'm just gonna take what's in my lid here, I'm gonna take off a little bit of excess, and we're gonna go ahead and just dab it. I'm gonna do the bigger one. We're gonna go ahead and just dab it on. Just you would kind of think of it as a stamp pad in a way. And this is paint. It is the Pearl Metallic. And this is Pearl Jammin'. It is one of CC's newest colors. And with the stamp, what I like is that it doesn't have to be perfect coverage. Like a stencil tends to be perfect and crisp and all that good stuff. So I've got my pearl on here, and I'm going to go ahead and just very carefully just lay that on. Ooh, and hopefully we don't move it. There we go. So I've got a little pearly pearl in there. So you guys can see her kind of floating around in the garden there. So we're going to move her to the side. I'll show you what green iris is like. This is green iris. It's so yummy. All right, if you guys haven't experienced it, you just gotta give it a try. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and open this guy. And I've already stirred these. These are, I will tell you, stir your metallics. All right, so I think this guy, we're gonna put him, I don't wanna mess her up here. So I'm gonna put him right about here. I love that these are bendy. So that way I can maneuver them exactly where I want them. Okay, so we're gonna do the same thing. Again, you can take a foam roller. I'm just using a makeup sponge. I kind of wipe some of it off so I don't have like a gloopy mess. But we're gonna treat it just like we would a stamp pad. Okay, except I'm stamping on my stencil. Okay. All right, so now I've got that loaded here. Let me see, I've got a little bit. I'm gonna make sure I get some on that little legs here. All right. Okay, here we go. So these are going to be very pale little guys in our design. Okay, so he's a nice little pale little guy right there. So you can kind of see him. He's real faint. I like this one, he's my favorite. Okay, I don't want to wipe him off. All right, so we're gonna try one more on this side, and we're gonna be really, really careful so we don't take out our butterfly. And I want to do a, let me see, I'll stand him up because I want to do this one back here on this part right up here, so it's a little more visible. All right, so we're going to go ahead and go with our Pearl Jammin'. And it's really cool, like it has a iridescent factor to it. So it's not super solid. All right. Okay, here we go, guys. Wish me luck. Okay. All right, we're gonna drop him on the side and just rock it across. Oop. Okay, there we are. Just a nice little faint little bit there. We don't want him super opaque. All right. So now I added some little creatures in my garden. Let's go ahead and let's close these up for good measure. We don't want to make a pearly mess here. Okay. All right. So those Pearl Jammin' and green iris. And I may go back once it's dry and add a few more in there. All right. So we've got our little iridescent guys in here. Real faint. My favorite's probably going to be this one. You guys can see that. All right. So now my lamp's not complete. We got to do something with this shade. Let me show you the shade. All right, so and then we'll move him a little bit out of the way. All right, so we got a plain old linen shade, but we're gonna decoupage. So this is the rice papers. So I liked this one. It was really, really cute. This is how I think you call it, Herb's Garden or Herb's Memory. It is a 11.5 by 16.5 or quarter. So you need two of them to make them go around. So this will only, one sheet's barely gonna get us, you know, a lot more than half, and then you'll need this little part where we'll fill in with another one. But we're gonna go ahead and apply this one on so you guys can see how easy that is. This is the rice paper, so they are very thin. They have that cool little texture to it. We'll still be able to use our lamp and get light through it, which I love, and I love the little texture it has on our piece. So it looks like a nice fancy silk shade. All right, so I'm gonna turn my fan off so we don't blow my paper around. All right, so what we're gonna do next is I'm gonna set this guy, and I'm gonna be doing this upside down. All right, so I'm gonna make sure we got it on here, just overlap just a scotch there to here, and I'll show you guys the full paper. All right, so here's the full paper. So we actually had to cut it here in half. So we're using the top half was already done, and we're using the bottom half is on this side. And we'll open another one up and just fill in the rest on this side. All right, so real quickly, let's grab some glue. And I'm using decoupage paper, or Mod Podge on this one because it's linen-y. I didn't feel like my normal go-to would be using a top coat. I didn't feel like that would work so well today. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get that on there. I'm just gonna go ahead and get this started. Like I said, we're doing a little overlap on this one. Right in there. Let me get a little bit more glue because I want to kind of have a pretty good start on this. And I'm gonna get a little bit on that top edge. If you have a lamp that's taller, you could do it the other direction. You just need a few more sheets. If you have, this is about an 8-inch shade, so it worked perfect for what I wanted. Okay. Make sure that I have it on there well. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna put a little, kind of press down my glue right there. Okay. Alrighty. So now what I'm gonna do is kind of keep going. So I like to put my glue in the little squirt bottle, like a little ketchup, little mustard bottle, whatever works for you. You can get them from the kitchen stores. I just like that I can get a lot of glue on really fast without making a ginormous mess. Okay, get on there. All right, we have just a little overhang. It just wraps around the top and the bottom to finish out that shade. All right, here we go. Alrighty, so you guys, now are you gonna go through and look for your lamps at home and see which ones need to be redone, right? I hope so. I hope we've given you some inspiration this week, actually this whole month. So a lot of great artists showing you all kinds of goodies this month. All right. Make sure I get that little edge here. Okay, there we go. Get this edge. Okay, there we go. See, this is a pretty quick process. Be a little bit messy. Definitely getting glued up hands, but that's okay, no big deal. It washes off, it's water-based. Go. All right, let me get some of the edge, some of that edge. Let's see, did I make it to the end? Probably, almost at the end. Okay. I love this, it has a butterfly on it. That's kind of why I picked it. And I wanted something a little different, not so much floral pattern up here on the top. Just wanted something a little fun that would kind of look like a little newsprint kind of deal going on. So that's why we picked this one. Okay. All right. Just want to get that to stay down. Put a little extra glue here on the edge. Not a whole lot, just a little extra so I can get it just to kind of stick down. You got to be a little careful. You don't want to overwork your rice paper because it will tear. All right. Let's see. Make sure it's all stuck on my little paste here. All right, hang tight real quick. Grab a baby wipe. Baby wipes are always essential around here. They get your hands nice and clean without having to run to the bathroom every 5 seconds, right? Alrighty. Okay, you guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and lift this up so you can see my pretty face again. Hello, y'all. All right, so let me get this all put together-ish, kind of, sorta. All right, so we've got our lamp. Fragile must be Italian, right? So then we'll have our little doodad right here, and that'll be it. So I love it. You see, there we go. Boom. How is that, y'all? So we got our little iridescent bugs in our, there we are, there it is. I love it. So easy peasy, lemon squeezy, right? So that is Paint, Couture and Redesign with Prima. Happy painting, you guys, and I'll see you next time.